Several years ago, a former Olympic gold medalist in the 100 meters came to Los Angeles to participate in an invitational track meet. He was considered the fastest man alive. But when the opening heat was run, he didn't even qualify for the next round. In an interview, he gave the reason, and he said simply, "I'm overweight, I trained too little, and I ate too much." Now, this man had not gained much weight, probably not even enough for the eye to see, but it was enough to keep him out of the race. You know, in the same way, there are many things that weigh us down and hinder us in this race of faith. The author of Hebrews tells us in Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 1, regarding this race of faith, he says, "Let us lay aside every weight and the sin which so easily ensnares us." You know, there are many things that hinder us in our race of faith. In fact, there are many good things in the Christian life that will hinder your spiritual progress. You know, even a good thing can become a bad thing when we overindulge and allow them to consume us. You see, when a pastime, a hobby, a relationship, when your extracurricular activity tears you away from the people of God, or maybe dulls your zeal for God, or keeps you out of the house of God, or takes you from your service to God, or maybe robs you of your time alone with God, then that good thing has become a bad thing, and it needs to be laid aside, lest it lay you aside in this race of faith. Imagine for a moment that you and I are flying on an airplane, and say we're at 15,000 feet. And the captain announces that the plane has just lost power in 3 of its 4 engines, and we need to get rid of all of the extra weight. If we don't, he says, this plane and this flight will end in disaster. I ask you, what would you do? Would you reason with the captain? Would you argue with him? Would you plead with him to find a better plan? Probably not. You see, if you knew that simply shedding a few pounds of excess weight would make the difference between life and death, I'm sure you would do everything in your power to get rid of anything, and you would do it as soon as possible. But you know, the same is true in this race of faith. Oftentimes, the difference between success and failure, spiritual life and spiritual death, is what we do with the excess weight in our life. You see, if we don't get serious about sin, then sin will shipwreck your spiritual life. It's been wisely said, if we break the commandments will break us. And friends, we need to be careful to shed the excess weight and remove that sin that so easily ensnares us in running this race of faith. May the Spirit of God take the Word of God and change you with it today.